listening to Downworlder Dish, a Shadowhunter Chronicles podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 54, where we will be discussing Chapter 17 in City of Glass, a Shadowhunter's Tale. I'm Kristen.
I'm Robin.
And I'm Amanda.
What? So this is super late, to bring up because of the way our recording schedule is. You guys won't be listening to this until the 26th of January. But I had called out a few episodes ago an Instagram page that I really liked, Brother Snackariah. And then they messaged us and I was like, shut the fuck up, you guys listen to us.
Seriously.
Equal fangirl moment.
It was like this weird I was like, oh my god. We're popular or whatever.
It's still so crazy. I know we talk about it all the time, but it's still so crazy that we pay for you guys to have to listen to us and people love us.
Right?
Thank you.
It's crazy. It's good times though. We don't know when it's going to come out, but we did do our first test run with a reaction video.
Yes.
I am still working on learning how to edit said video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
But we're figuring it out. And I have a couple of ideas on how we can maybe improve on our first. I feel like the first one is just going to be we're sorry.
That's pretty typical for us.
This was just an experiment. And as long as you can get through the first one, maybe it'll get better.
Yeah. So we watched the first episode of the TV show.
Yes.
That was fun.
It was. And I'm excited. I want to keep doing it. So
yeah.
We're still figuring out, because we did mention a few episodes ago that we are going to start a Patreon. We're still trying to figure out what that's going to look like, but this will be coming out when? I just said it. The 26th. It'll be coming out the 26th of January. So we should definitely have more info for you guys within the next coming weeks.
Yeah. We want good content, not just to have something there. So
yeah, we want good content and we want to, we just want it to be cool. We want to be cool kids. That's all.
We want you guys to laugh with us.
Yeah.
So we'll make it happen. We're funny.
We are.
Watching me watch that first episode probably was hilarious. I had a lot to say.
I've got to do a better job of not being so judgy. I was really hard. Everything I said that I was it's an alternate universe. I'm going to just accept it for what it is. And it literally flew out the window as soon as we hit play.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this garbage?
30 seconds in, I think we had already paused and I was throwing my hands in the air.
Yeah. I have faith that I will get better though.
Yeah.
And not be such a fucking dragon lady about it. What do you think, Robin? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I know it's silly, but I don't even know if this is the right place. But I want to try. So we recorded one where we had the movie up and us in the bottom screen. Yeah. But I want to try one that's more of a Brad Mondo, where it's
mm-hmm.
we're the bigger,
and then we pop the movie.
I don't want
that.
No. But
yeah. But I don't know.
I think we're going to have to, I think the first probably few episodes, we're going to try some different things and then maybe get some feedback.
Yeah,
and
which one looks better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See where to go from there.
But otherwise, last night I was kind of, I've been watching Call the Midwife.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't sleep when I watch it because I just want to keep watching the next episode. So before I went to bed, I was like, I should just put on something that I've seen before so that way it can just kind of be background. And I thought about putting Shadowhunters on because why not? And I was like, no, I need to save this juiciness for reaction videos.
Awesome.
So instead I'm listening to Ghost of the Shadow Market. So I was in a Shadowhunter. And of course I fell right to sleep just because it was so soothing. It was just oh. And then I woke up and it was 5 chapters later and I'm having to go back.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
so funny.
Shit, I'm spoiling it for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
What if there's a sleep timer?
There is.
Yeah, I should do that.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I use it a lot, except my problem is that when I try to listen to a book as I'm falling asleep, I don't fall asleep. I just stay up.
Yeah, that's
And then
me.
the sleep timer goes off and I'm like, wait, no, 60 more minutes. What happens? I forgot.
I forgot. You've already heard it and you can't go to sleep.
I
That's
have
great.
to have my, like, I have what's the Headspace app? And I listen to the sleep noises when I go to sleep so I can kind of like, because otherwise my brain can't stop.
There's that one app, I can't remember maybe it's the same thing, but it's, you have to pay for it though.
Oh, Calm, where they
I
read
think
you
that
the
is.
bedtime stories.
Uh-huh.
And it's like Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, okay. That's soothing. There was a commercial during, while everything was closed back in like March, April time, back when things were really gray. And I don't know. I feel like it was maybe for one of those apps that you guys are talking about, but it literally was like 30 seconds and it was just like rain sounds. And it was trying to obviously show you what you could get from the app, but it was just like, after I watched the commercial a few times, I would do it and I would just like, okay, nobody fucking say anything. Shut the fuck up. And we just sit there for 30 seconds. And if anybody'd say anything, I'm like, you're ruining my fucking calm.
That sounds about right.
That was it. That was me for 30 seconds every couple days.
Yeah.
I think that, they have sleep playlists on Spotify. But what I haven't figured out is, so we have a dot in the bedroom.
Uh-huh.
I was like, and I can play Spotify through the dot.
Yeah.
But then you can't have the sleep timer on through the dot. And so then I'm afraid I'm going to keep playing the music and then I'm not going to wake up to my alarm in the morning.
Right.
Oh,
So I
okay.
haven't figured out how to cross those wires yet.
Or have a very different alarm sound.
Yeah, like
than
mine's
whatever kind
very alarming.
I don't hear them anyway.
That's
so
crazy.
maybe.
Yeah.
Lincoln, so we put music on for him, but basically I'm like, play Jack Johnson or something. And when it runs out of songs, it will stop. So maybe you just need to create your own playlist that's like an hour worth of
good
music.
idea. Yeah. Because I just use a Spotify one and it's like.
Right,
ginormous.
of course.
Yeah.
It's probably supposed to be for the whole night.
Anyway,
This got off topic.
that is all.
I was gonna. Okay, so when you were talking about like interrupting your calm, so I do my meditations. Like I have, I do it on the TV, right? And I stream it. So I'm in the living room, right? Lights are down. I'm doing my meditation, and Bryn's on fucking Netflix, and so my meditation like skips and buffers, and I'm like, get off the internet, like, mommy needs her time, like.
That's so great.
It's like breathe in, and then it just stops, and you're like, am I supposed to breathe out right now?
I'm suffocating.
Yeah, because my eyes are closed, so I can't see like the screen skipping. Like,
That's
bro,
great.
I'm gonna die out here.
You are literally killing me.
Dude, that's hard with the, we only have 2 Netflix. So I'm like, watch a movie, get off Netflix.
Yeah. Yep. You're like, Mama's gotta watch Bake Off.
It's called The Midwife
Call
right
the
now.
midwife.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2 episodes left.
Of Call the Midwife?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I started watching it a long time ago, but I never got through, I think, the first episode.
It was kind of, I feel like the first season wasn't, it was more like background noise for me. Now
Right.
I'm invested.
Right.
So.
Because I know you were saying you were like on the fence. You weren't sure.
Yeah, I wasn't, but I'm glad I did.
Okay.
For real.
Yeah, it's cute.
Maybe I'll have to check it out.
I loved sort of being able to see history in the format where I can judge people. Yeah? Because it's a TV show. So I'm like, bitch, you wouldn't really have done that. Whatever.
Anything else? Well, what do you say we cut the chit chat and kick things off with Robin's recap?
Previously on Downworlder Dish.
Clary is shocked, and not in a good way, when her mom returns from her Sleeping Beauty curse. Since her safety is secured, Clary finally has time to reflect on all the shit that has happened over the last few months. That makes her rage at her mom for lying to her for her entire life. Clary books it and heads to Guard Hill to calm down and regain her center. In the meantime, Jace is using the bloody thread that he plucked from Clary's jacket to track Sebastian over the river and through the woods. Back to our angsty teen, Simon finds her and tells her that Luke gave the clave until sunset to make a decision about fighting alongside the Downworlders. They have a heart-to-heart about Clary's mom returning, whether or not he did it with Isabel, and the root of his vampism. In the process, Clary's thoughts trail to Ithuriel, And the meaning of the rune that he showed her finally clicks in her head, and she runs off to the Accords Hall to tell the Clave about it, revealing in the process how she can seemingly make some new runes. The Clave is like, yeah, right, you can make runes. Prove it, bitch. And she does, by showing everyone in the room an image of the person they love most. She tells them that this new rune is a binding rune, and it works by letting a Downworlder and Shadowhunter share skills with a Z. So come on, motherfuckers, let me mark you.
I love it. So our little angel girl is sitting on the steps of the Accords Hall, stressing out about all the things she forgot to say while she was up on the dais, while she awaits the Clave's verdict. And yeah, I can relate.
Seriously?
Just like, fuck, why didn't I say that? I said that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Shower thinking.
Yep. Yes. So, never one to leave a friend behind, Simon is keeping vigil with his bestie by methodically pacing in front of her. And I'm sorry, but has pacing ever been helpful? No, it's not. It's never been helpful. Seeing someone pace around you just makes me more, like, anxious.
I
Like,
cannot shake my head anymore.
no, thank you.
My son, my oldest, he can't really stand still. So when he talks to me, I'm like working or sitting on the couch or doing something. And when he talks, he literally just paces around and walks. And I'm like, can you please stop? Seriously, you need to sit down and talk to me. Well, and I'm like, dude, seriously, like, you gotta stop. It's, I don't like it.
You're like, you're stressing me out.
Yeah, it does.
William's like that. He just can't sit still for more than like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's 4. My kid's 20. But that's adorable.
He's like, Mom, I sit with you? And then he comes and sits on me and then just wiggles the whole time. I was like, dude, get your bony butt off me, bro.
Yep. Anyway, who paces? Like, is that really going to help you think?
Nobody does that. No.
Except when Robin's on the phone or something. Isn't that you that does that? Yeah.
I do pace on the phone. Like, okay, you know what I'm talking about, though. It's those weird calls that you're talking to someone and you did not expect to talk to them for that long, but then you end up talking to them for like 3 hours and you're like, Jesus Christ. And then like you're pacing and you're upside down on the couch and, you know, in every different position and you change arms because your arm gets tired.
No, I like clean my house when I'm on the phone.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, now that I have AirPods, like, yeah, those things aren't, it's not like 2006.
I hold the phone. Hold it and I sweep and do dishes.
Oh.
Oh, no.
No.
Nope. I sit still.
I can't be bothered. I have weird positions to be on the couch. It's like when you're reading and you're just like, you just keep like doing like a quarter turn.
Yes.
Until like your head is on the seat and your feet are up on the back of the chair.
Dude, I will never forget the weight of a book in your hands when you're trying to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, you know, when you're reading in bed and it's just like your wrists, like my wrist hurt, my fingers hurt.
It happens with my phone now, yeah.
And so then I always remember like, gosh, it'd be nice if there was like a clip or something. And now everything is like, I just read books on my phone.
Right.
And it's so much easier, but I miss that. Like, as much as I hated it, I miss the weight of a heavy book falling. Like,
there is something special about being able to have just your phone in your hand, like propped up next to the pillow while you're reading so you don't have to do anything.
Yep.
Except with your little finger just go doink.
Yep.
Like
One
swipe.
page.
turn. Well, that or trying to find light to read in your bedroom.
Exactly.
Right.
That's my issue with books. Yeah. Reading at night, I mean. My issue with books. Damn you.
But it's nice if your partner's asleep and you can't sleep and you want to read. Like, it's so nice to be able to have, like, the black background with the white text because it's so dim.
Yeah, that's what I have all the time.
Samesies. It's easier on the eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a long tangent about...
You bring up the word anxious and all of us always go on a tangent.
we're just really stressed out, okay? All the time. Clary seems to be in agreement with us because she tells Simon to cut his silent stalking of the night short because she ain't having it either. The Clave has been deliberating whether or not to use Clary's rune magic to help fight Valentine, but like all governing bodies, it's taking forever because they can't get their shit
Give me
together.
$600, man.
Right? Shit.
Fucking took them that long?
Anyway.
So Simon busies himself trying to climb high enough to see the north gate of the city, and the Downworlders that are supposed to be gathering there, but no such luck. He can't get high enough. I'm going to leave that there.
Yep.
So our bundles of hormones and anxiety are interrupted from their musings by Jocelyn coming out of the hall. Yay! Is it? Did they vote? Do we have a chance of winning the war? We don't know. Jocelyn just came out to chat. Great timing, Mom. Fuck. So Jocelyn starts with apologies. Meanwhile, Clary realizes she's stolen Patrick Penhallo's stele. How much could he possibly need to use it?
What is with these women and the stele?
Stella equals lighters?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's the best fucking
title.
Oh my god, it's so true.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in this mother-daughter heart-to-heart, so I'm just going to give you the Cliff Notes version. Mama Frey is all, I know you have every reason to hate me, and Clary's like, I don't, hate you, or whatever. The text doesn't specify, but I'm fairly certain Clary rolled her eyes during that exchange, because, that's what a teenager would do.
Of course.
She's like, I don't, hate you, per se. And Jocelyn was in the hall when Clary gave her big speech, and she's so proud of her daughter. Aww. It still doesn't make up for you lying to Clary her entire life and fucking with her brain, but, whatever. At least you're sorry and proud. So, of course, Jocelyn correctly guesses that the rune stunt Clary pulled on the dais was appearing as the person the beholder loved most. So whoever was looking at her was whoever they loved most. Mm-hmm. And she knew that. Jocelyn knew that because all she saw was Clary still.
Aww.
Lies. It was Luke.
His flannel, 2 buttons open.
Oh.
Right? She's like, hamburger meat. My husband converted me to a chest hair person, okay? I can't help it.
Yeah.
So Clary shows Mama Frey the Alliance rune on the marble steps. And sidebar, if steles can draw on anything, do you think there's a bunch of rune graffiti all over Alicante? If they had graffiti in Pompeii, I doubt the Shadowhunters escaped that human behavior.
Could you imagine, instead of kids writing on the wall with, markers, they're just, doodling with steles?
Yeah.
I like it. So Jocelyn reminisces about her youth and how her daughter has taken up the same cause of uniting Downworlders and Shadowhunters, except her daughter didn't have to join a genocide-loving hate group and marry the leader before coming to her senses. But yeah, some legacy. Sounds good.
Yeah, samesies.
But let's be honest, folks. Jocelyn's still got some splaining to do. So brace yourself. She gives it all. That's not what I wanted to say. She lays it all out there for Clary.
Awesome.
So V-Tang was hot shit in high school. All the guys wanted to be him. All the girls wanted to be with him. He was basically Freddie Prinze Jr., and she's all that.
Dude, have you seen Freddie Prinze Jr. lately?
No.
Wow. Gotta get me some of that.
He looks just as hot as he did. I think he looks hotter than he did when he was younger.
Yeah,
personally.
5 o'clock shadow, some salt and pepper in there.
He's a bit of a silver fox now.
Yep.
I feel the same way about Ryan Phillippe. I think he's way hotter now than he used to be. He looks like a mountain man now, and I like it.
Yeah, he used to have that baby face, and now he plays these badass shooter guys and stuff and everything. Oh, no, that's not.
That's a terrible picture.
Yeah, it is.
He looks like a doctor.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like a responsible dad who has a good 401k. That's why he's attractive.
No, let me do this searching.
In the commercial, the dishwashing commercial that he's in.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Jason and I, there's this laundry commercial that we just cannot get around because it uses 90s hip-hop music in the back. It's Old Dirty Bastard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we're just like, how are we this old that this song is a commercial song now?
For laundry.
Right.
Because it's ODB. It's dirty.
Yeah, because it knows its target audience. That's why.
Yep.
Because it knows we're fucking in our 30s, and that's what we care about.
Oh my God, I had a conversation like that with the kids at Dutch Brothers this morning.
Oh God.
Because the lady said that she hadn't ever seen any Harry Potters, and I was just like, what?
How is that even possible?
That's better. That's still not as good as I've seen him. But anyway, he looks good.
It was like blasphemy in my mind. I'm like, but you know what? Like, I'm an entire generation like ahead of you.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fucking Jason saw, and of course he had to tell me because he's like, it hurt my feelings, so I need to tell you too. So I think it was like a TikTok or something that was on Facebook, and it was this guy like going to buy wine, and they're like, oh, I need to see your license, and he's like, oh, do I need to take it out of my wallet? And they're like, no, I can see the one in front of your birth date. And I'm like, so they're like, oh no, you were born last century, you're good, because if kids that were born in 2000 can buy liquor.
Yeah. My son was born in 2000 and he'll be 21 this year.
I don't appreciate it.
It's ridiculous.
It hurts my feelings.
I know. It's gross. I don't like it either. Believe me. Yeah. Yeah. I got carded this weekend because I bought beer. My brother's birthday was this weekend, so I brought him just a pack of beer or whatever. Okay, that's not true. I brought him pear seltzer because apparently he drinks that now. He's a little bitch. Anyway.
Hope you hear this, Ben.
Yeah. I keep telling him, he's a truck driver, so he listens to podcasts all day. And I'm like, so what'd you think of my last episode? And he's like, yeah, I don't listen to you. And I'm like, I know. Someday you will. I text him.
Someday you'll get desperate enough.
Yeah. I keep sharing it with him. So one day maybe he'll click on it and just give us more likes. Anyway, I got carded when I was buying it. And she didn't even ask me to pull out my ID or anything. She just asked me my birthday so she could type it in. Thanks. I mean, I am almost 35, so I guess I don't look 21, but still it would be nice to be asked.
Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to be like if you look under 40, they're supposed to ID
I think
you?
it is 35.
Oh, okay.
But maybe it's different for cigarettes and beer. I was going to say weed. That was a jump.
I mean, also, they're way more secure with the weed store.
Definitely.
They're like, we need to scan your ID, and you're like, oh shit, this is like some serious shit.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever done that. Okay, moving on from Freddie Prinze Jr. and our hurt feelings for how old we are. Jocelyn, on the other hand, was much more of a Molly Ringwald in Pretty in Pink. A not really popular girl with a best friend named Luke, but I mean, I could call Luke Ducky. I'm down with it.
I've never seen Pretty in Pink.
What?
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I am a Molly Ringwald fan. Willed. Yeah.
So, Jocelyn's Molly Ringwald. She spends most of her time with her best friend Luke. But V-Tang picked her above everyone else. So I guess V-Tang's actually Jake Ryan, but that's beside the point. And you don't get that because you've never seen Pretty in Pink.
No, I just know he has two first names.
So shit goes off the teen movie rails when she marries V-Tang at 18, something Clary can't seem to process as real life. And I'm like, dude, you've had a young man. You've had a young mom your entire life. Have you never done the math?
Yeah, that's dumb.
Like, even if you didn't think you had an older brother, even if it was just you, like, your mom was, 21 when she had you? It's not that big of a leap.
Yeah.
Come on. Much to Clary's dismay, Jocelyn explains that her marriage with Valentine was a happy one and everything was great. At the end of the day, his desire to eliminate an entire species was just politics, not something to fret over. Fuck. I keep going back to that vision that Ethereal showed her, and when Jocelyn's like, oh, enough with the politics, I'm like, that's not what that is. I feel like you've been misguided. That is not what that is.
Oh,
so anyway, aside from that little speed bump, besides, they were at the center of their own cult universe, and Valentine always said he'd be nothing without Jocelyn. Bro, you are not helping your case.
Yeah, I agree. Like, weird.
You're like, oh, but I helped him create the cult that gave him the power to do what he did, and he couldn't have done it without me.
Yeah.
But we were happy. It was before things went cray.
I want you to know that I know it was bad, but I also want you to know how important I was.
Right. That's exactly what it is. We never actually get Jocelyn explaining why she felt the way she did before she changed her mind and realized how horrible Vitang was. And I want to know what her thought process was. Not just an excuse of like, I was in love. Like, you listened to his rhetoric. You went on raids. At what point did you stop believing in what he believed in? Because it's not like the flashbacks that we've gotten. It's not like he was ever like, it's not like he was hiding it. He wasn't hiding it.
We'll get there in my section a little bit. We'll dive in a little.
So, I feel like Jocelyn's part of the creation of the circle and her participation gets glossed over because she organized the fight, like Vitang, organized to fight Vitang in the uprising. But that shouldn't give her total absolution. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like she only did it. Well, not only, but obviously her main reason for doing it was because of Luke. Mm-hmm. So, like, would she have done that if Luke hadn't turned?
Right.
Yeah. If Luke was still a person/person, would Vitang be in charge? Maybe.
Or like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we still got some splaining to do. Like, Jocelyn, you ain't so pure and perfect.
Yeah, so let me tell you what she says. So she explains that first Valentine didn't really talk about Downworlders. He focused more on talking about reforming the Clave and changing their like old crappy laws. And he preached that there should be more Shadowhunters and institutes to fight off more demons. So I kind of understand how people started following him because that all sounds great. You know, the Clave is old and they follow these super like really, it's probably very like strict laws, I'm assuming.
And it also, I mean, it feels natural for the younger generation to be like, okay, y'all crusty.
Yeah.
It's time to bring in
Fight the man.
The new energy. Yeah. Like that seems reasonable and normal for a society.
Yeah.
Like as the younger generation grows up, they want to make changes.
And it seems like if what we are thinking about Shadowhunters, that a lot of them die young.
Right.
Then there's probably more young people than there are old people.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't making it to that big age, you know, so they're like, yeah, overthrow, we got the balance.
So there's definitely room for them to fill those ranks and kind of move up.
So do the Clave members actually fight all the time? I'm assuming they don't because they're like high up, right? Like the president doesn't fight here, you know.
I think they all fight when they need to.
Okay.
But like Maris and Robert don't leave the institute unless they have to. Like they have more of a desk job, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wonder if the Clave is.
But when there is a big battle in their territory, they do go out and fight. Like they went to the
boat.
Ship.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
the
true.
SS Vitang.
Yes.
Yes.
What was called a boat, which is stupid.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, Jocelyn goes on to explain that she was pregnant and Luke was bitten. And when Luke changed and came back to the manor, Jocelyn obviously wanted to comfort him. But as we know, Valentine wouldn't allow it because of the baby. And I mean, if you haven't had much interaction with person/wolves, I could see where that concern would be valid. But they're fucking Shadowhunters. Like Valentine and honestly Jocelyn know better. And so Valentine dragged Luke away from the manor, and when he came back, he was alone, and he told Jocelyn that Luke killed himself. Like, really, bitch, you believed that?
Well, my thing is, obviously we find out in this chapter, so I'm just gonna whatever. You're worried about Luke potentially hurting your baby when you're injecting him with demon poison.
Yes.
But you're worried about your baby. Fuck you.
But he's not.
He's not.
No, exactly.
It's totally an excuse. Yeah, because
I know.
he just wants to control her and he wants to get her away from Luke, which we find out. But
yeah.
Anyway, that was a piss poor like.
Yep.
But you're right. Like, come on, Jocelyn should not be like entertaining that crap. Like, she knows.
That seems like something you would fall for from someone you just started dating. Like,
right.
It's still like this really. No, you know this man now. Like, come on. You know not to fall for some of his bullshit. Gross. So Clary starts pointing out all the shitty shit that Valentine did, like giving Luke the knife and forcing Amatis's husband to divorce her because her brother was a I was going to say a shadow hunter. A person/wolf. So Jocelyn says that she didn't know any of that happened. After Luke died, she fell into a depression. And she explains, though, that depression is more of a Mundy term, and shadow hunters don't recognize that sort of thing, which is very, very, very sad. I imagine with all the death around them, this happens probably often. So it's sad that they, I don't know, maybe there's a rune that can help them, like raise their serotonin levels or something instead of an antidepressant.
It's the Zoloft rune.
Yeah, exactly. So V-Tang had told everyone that she was just having a difficult pregnancy, which is just so sad, but okay. So Jocelyn kept hearing things like cries and stuff in the middle of the night. So Valentine would give her something to help her sleep. And that shit gave her really bad nightmares, which I understand because from what I understand, melatonin gives you really bad nightmares. I don't know. I've never actually taken it.
I use melatonin all the time. It doesn't give me nightmares.
Okay.
I don't really. Sometimes I'll have like a weird dream, but not like a nightmare.
Huh. Okay. Well, anyway, she wasn't getting melatonin, guys. Anyway, she had dreams that Valentine was like holding her down and stabbing her, or that she was choking on poison.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, those are nightmares, not weird dreams.
That is a night terror.
Seriously. So she was so exhausted in the morning from all these nightmares, she would sleep all day. So I'm wondering, like, maybe once this sleep aid wore off, she was actually able to like sleep.
Right.
Because she was constantly sleeping. She had no idea like what was going on outside, which is why she didn't know what happened with Amatus and everything. So when Jocelyn finally had the baby, he opened his eyes and Jocelyn didn't feel that like motherly connection, which I just can't even imagine. Not only did she not believe this was her baby, but she believed he was not human at all. And while Jocelyn's like in this whirlwind of trying to figure out like who the fuck is this baby, I don't know what's going on, Valentine like comes into the doorway and I imagine he just like leans on the door, frame with his like feet kicked out, and he's like, yeah, the baby's name is Jonathan. And I'm like, bro, what? Did you just name my baby without me? Like what? So maybe they had a conversation about it. I don't know, but I didn't like that. So anyway, Jocelyn just kept looking at the baby, and the next time he opened his eyes again, she could see how incredibly black they were, and she felt like there was no humanity in them at all. I can't imagine what that would feel like, because babies' eyes are dark, right? When they're very first born.
My baby's eyes were like gray, both of them.
Yeah, and then they
Bryn's
turned
were
blue.
Bright blue.
Okay. I feel like Lincoln's were pretty dark when he was first born. Maybe that's because our kids have brown eyes, and Bryn doesn't.
Yeah, she's like green eyes.
Yeah.
Like greenish hazel, yeah.
Interesting.
They're weird. They're not one color. They
mine
change color.
Either. Yeah, depending on like what reflects on mine. Yeah. That's interesting. So Clary sat in silence. She could hardly understand how anyone could feel that way about Jace. Of course, she's thinking of him as a grown, like, I was going to say grown man. No, as a kid, though.
IRL.
Yeah, as he is now. So she tries to convince Jocelyn that maybe she was sick or she was just in shock. And apparently that's also the route that Valentine tried to take, because he really loved this baby and he couldn't understand what was wrong with Jocelyn. And she felt the same way. She felt like she was a monster for not loving her own child. So I hear all of that. It's weird though that Valentine tried to pretend like he didn't understand. Like
when he definitely
he knew what he was doing. So like
he's trying to gaslight her.
Yeah. So anyway, then Jocelyn gets a fire message from a trusted warlock named Ragnar Fell. This is where he is, guys. This is where we first meet him back in time. Anyway, the letter said that Luke had become leader of the pack. Vroom vroom. Anyway, to the pack in Brosselin Forest. I bet none of our listeners know what the hell I just did there. So she burns the letter because she didn't want Valentine to see it. So let me get this straight. She burned a fire message? Someone explain it to me. Read it in the encyclopedia that I said, is this like a Wikipedia in a book form? Bitch, I read encyclopedias as a kid to do reports. What the hell is wrong with me?
Wiki.
Oh, yeah, that's what I even asked. Do you have the codex? That's funny. Okay, so I'll go on while you look.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you for looking. It's such a cool thing to have. So when Jocelyn got to Brosalind Forest and actually saw Luke, she realized that Valentine was a big fat fucking liar. And that, Kristen, is when she started to hate him.
Right.
So Clary pointed out that Luke had said that Jocelyn knew something was wrong with Valentine before Luke had been changed. And Jocelyn is like, bro, I did. Luke remembers me telling him that I was afraid of Valentine and that I could hear screaming at the manor. So Luke was like, dude, I'll just ask him about it. He's my parabro tie. He'll tell me if some crochet is going down. And the next day, Luke and Valentine were on a routine patrol and Luke was bitten.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah, I think not. So she believes that Valentine made her forget her fear of him somehow and took Luke out of the picture so she would never remember. Crazy, scary. It's like what you did to Clary? A little bit?
Have the tables turned.
Interesting. How does it feel? Anyway, so after seeing Luke, she went home and tried to make a real effort to love her son. That night, she heard a baby cry, so she ran to Jonathan, but he was sleeping. And she ran to him really quickly because apparently he wasn't he didn't cry, which is also another thing that I'd be like, okay, this is weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like he just never cried. So, she followed the cries to the cellar and it was locked, but she knew where her dad had hidden the key. So, I'm wondering if it's like many nights of her sneaking in to the wine cellar for a little drink as a teenager, you know, a little something, something. Anyway, she's like, gotta get me some vino. I don't know. I don't drink wine. Anyway, as soon as she opened the door, she could smell death. And it turned out that Valentine had turned the cellar into a torture chamber. And the crying she had heard from was from one of the prisoners. And I want to read a section here, but before I do, I have to ask. They're living in her family house. And her dad hid a key to the cellar. Where is her dad?
In the other wing?
But like, why didn't he see this shit? Like, why was he no longer going down to the cellar? It's interesting.
Because maybe Valentine told him he was using it as an office or whatever and wanted just privacy. Like, Valentine was sly.
I guess
I'm
that's
sure
true.
he probably found an excuse.
Was her dad still alive then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they lived with her parents. Or her parents might have had a house in the city and they lived in their country manor.
That's fair. I mean, maybe living with her parents. They did just say her mom was there when the baby was born.
Yeah.
Well, there are a couple, as we saw, people that live in, like they left their city home and went to their manor home.
Right.
After the attack or whatever.
Oh, right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Well, that's fine.
Okay, so we couldn't find anything in the codex on fire message, but I did look on the wiki.
Okay.
And it says, the fire message is one form of communication for Shadowhunters who used to refrain from the usage of electronic gadgets and phones, and is primarily used when they're in Alicante, as most modern devices are still impossible to use within the city wards. Then it tells you how they were made, which we're going to skip just in case. It's spoilery. But a fire message is sent by burning a piece of paper with the message. The Nephilim do this by marking the piece of paper with the room for fire with a stele. The message will burn itself up, and the process can be sped up by setting it on fire. The message will then reform wherever the receiver is, assuming something isn't blocking it. It is possibly better to be sent out from a wide open space. A warlock's fire message is apparently powerful enough to bypass the wards around Alicante. Fire message cannot be sent to places like Edom and Ferry.
Interesting.
Okay.
So it seems like it's like a fax, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it burns. So you do your rune. You write your message, and then it'll burn, or you can burn it, and then it'll go popping like out of the flames into the fall in front of the person, right?
Crazy. Like
So
all
then-
of a sudden there's just a piece of paper hanging there in front of you.
Right. So then after that, then she burned it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It was
Crazy.
an unnecessary step, but she did it for secrets.
Yeah. So it would go fast.
Secret time.
Fire. Okay. I'm going to read this little section about when she went down into the cellar. So, it says, demon creatures bound with electrum chains writhed, yeah, and flopped and gurgled in their cells. But there was writhed and flopped and gurgled in their cells, but there was more, much more. The bodies of Downworlders in different stages of death and dying. There were werewolves, their bodies half dissolved by silver powder. Vampires held their heads down in holy water until their skin peeled off the bones. Fairies whose skin had been pierced with cold iron. Like, the fuck? So, instead of running for the fucking hills after seeing all of this, like, I would be terrified if I were going to be caught down there. Like, especially knowing what Valentine's capable of now, seeing all of this. I can't believe she kept going.
It's like that, what is it? House of a Thousand Corpses, that Rob Zombie movie.
Yes.
Should fuck you up.
No thanks.
No. I don't even know if I've seen the whole thing because it was too much for me. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. The Hills Have Eyes was also really hard for me, which is weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she started reading basically these medical records that Valentine had created for each prisoner, and she could see that he wasn't torturing just for fun, but for scientific purposes. He fucking burned a vamp's skin a shitload of times to see how many times they would regenerate. He also tried to gain or potentially amplify his own Shadowhunter abilities by injecting himself with demon blood, but it wouldn't do anything but make him sick. So, he wants to have the same powers as Downworlders. I'm assuming he didn't inject himself with vampire or person/wolf blood because it would turn him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's interesting that it's a demon disease,
yeah,
but infecting himself with demon blood didn't turn him into something.
Right.
It's weird. Not that.
You're I feel like there's other diseases that you could catch by doing that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing, it's weird to think, so his thing that he is always is they're diseased, they're dirty, right? You're a werewolf, person/wolf, you're a vampire, you're dirty because your blood is tainted.
Yeah.
But you're tainting your own blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's just...
He's just so jelly.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how a crazy person could not make sense.
Yeah, that's fair. So Valentine's conclusion on his own trials on himself were that he believed the blood must be injected into a child or an unborn child, for it to take effect. He's just too old. Which is, I don't know, a child. I would understand an unborn child, but a child, that's a weird thing to grasp at. I don't know. So Jocelyn eventually came across her own Valentine medical record, and basically all the nightmares she'd been having while she was pregnant was real shit. And Valentine had been giving her demon blood, hoping to create a new line of Shadowhunters that would be more powerful than Downworlders.
Do you think he organized the journals by last name like they do in the doctor's office? There's a little M
right
probably on the corner of it.
Yeah, or at least by their species.
He used the Dewey Decimal System.
Yes. So Clary was like, bro, you knew all of this and you stayed? What the fuck, mate? WTF, mate? Jocelyn was like, listen, I stayed for 2 reasons. 1, because she knew that Valentine was planning on killing all of the Downworlders, and she wanted to stop it. She told Luke everything that she had seen, and although she had hid her demon baby shit from Luke because she knew that he wouldn't be able to hold that shit in and focus on the bigger picture. She knew that he would just go attack Valentine. He attack. Jocelyn pretended like everything was normal again and that she loved her son. And she even brought him over to play at Maris's house with baby Alec. And Celine Herondale would come over too since she was pregnant, which I think is interesting. I'm having a baby, so I'll come watch these babies play. I don't know. I guess they're lonely.
They were their that was their group.
That's
it was
true.
their
circle,
group,
if you will.
Oh my god. The circle of trust.
Well, she's a lot, not a lot, but in Shadowhunter terms, Celine is a lot younger.
Yeah, she's 2 years younger than our main group of people.
Okay.
So this might be. So the thing I just listened to, and it's before she's with, so she's 17 and Steven's 21.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. she's 4 years.
4 or 5 years, probably.
Interesting.
So she's that second high school generation away. So I'm sure she's kind of looking up and trying to see.
Right.
Yeah, they're probably you should come over. We're going to have the kids together. Come on over.
Because at this point, Celine had recently married Steven and she's pregnant. And so she didn't really get brought into the fold until she married Steven. And Steven was one of Valentine's most trusted advisors. So Steven's basically like a general.
Yeah.
And so she's the general's wife. So now she has to like go and now be part of this inner circle because Maris and Robert were also like really high in Valentine's like
circle
group. Yes. I know I keep making So yeah, you know, you're the general's wife having tea with the president's wife, and you know,
yeah, that's fair. And other generals, okay. So Celine would tell Jocelyn about how nice Valentine was being to her, because he would like bring her these potions and shit to like for the baby, whatever. I don't know, that's weird. Like when I was pregnant, someone gave me I was having a headache or something. I don't remember what was wrong, but someone gave me silver, and I didn't do any research on it, and I was like, I'm pregnant. Like, I'd rather just, like, do my own research. I've literally never heard of this before.
Right.
And so I just wasn't into it. And it kind of threw the person off a little bit. Like, well, it's fine. And I'm like, you think it's fine, but I don't know anything about it. Like, what if you're wrong? I'm pregnant. Like, this is my baby.
Right.
So I don't know how much I would be. I guess he's Valentine, so everyone trusts him. But I don't know. Anyway, so basically Clary is thinking what we're all thinking. Like, oh, my God. And Jocelyn. Yeah. Holy shit, like she's gasping, I'm sure, you know. Jocelyn's like, yeah. So she admits that she couldn't tell Celine not to trust Valentine because her husband was like his BFF. So when Stephen died and then Celine killed herself, Valentine was distraught and disappeared for a day or so. And Jocelyn took this time to work out her anxiety about being found out by Ragnar and by getting... Whoa. That was weird. Anyway... She admits that she could tell Celine... Oh, sorry. When Stephen... Damn it!
Let me just plug this in.
That really distracted me.
It was so weird.
It just popped out of the wall.
It was your mom.
Yeah. So, okay. Jocelyn took this time to work out her anxiety about being found out by getting Ragnar Fell to make a potion for her from the Book of the White. So she knew this Maddie lady hated Vitang enough that she would never tell him. So Jocelyn confided in her to keep the secret about the potion. So she hid the book in the Wayland's Manor at a party one night at their house. Now I finally know. That was bugging me. And she told Madeline to reach out to Ragnar if she ever, like, if Jocelyn ever had to take this potion.
Right.
So Clary's like, okay, cool beans. But, like, what's the second reason you stayed? It must have been a good one. Tell me. And Jocelyn's like, bro, boo, baby girl. It was you. I was Bergante. Berganate? Pregonte?
Oh, yeah. I saw yours, so I decided to continue.
Oh, good.
Oh. So, Clary sheepish. I have such a bad time. Such a bad time with S's.
Sally sells she's fuck.
Sheesh. Why would I pick
seashells by the seashore?
Why would I pick that word when I have such a hard time with S's?
You're a beautiful butterfly.
Clary.
You're doing great, honey.
Sheepishly.
Good.
Says, and remembers Luke telling her that her mom was Pergonat when she escaped Vitang. And she asked her mom that, and she asked Jocelyn that, like, didn't knowing that you were going to have another child make you want to run away more? Like, wouldn't that be like,
yes,
let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn's like, well, obviously. But I knew that psycho that I married would never give up looking for me. And I would move heaven and earth to find, he would move heaven and earth to find me and bring me back. If it was just me, I had to think about, I would have run, but I knew that I could never let him hurt you or get to you. I had to keep you safe. And the only way to do that was murder.
A murder most foul.
Jocelyn said basically she thought that he would get killed during the uprising. Okay, I'm writing. I wrote this in her words, and I don't know why. So I'm just gonna go for it. This is what she's saying to Clary. She's like, I thought that he would get killed during the uprising. I couldn't have brought myself to do it, which is a theme here, I guess. I don't know. But surely he would have met his end at the hands of someone else. And later, when I heard that the manor house had burned down, I wanted to believe that he was really gone, that him and Jonathan burned up in the blaze. But deep down, I knew. And that's why I did what I did. I thought it was my last chance to protect you, taking your memories, making you into as much of a mundane as possible, and hiding you within their world. I realize now that it was stupid and wrong, and I'm so sorry. I hope eventually you'll be able to forgive me.
I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote.
Okay.
That's probably why you wrote it in that.
That's probably why I wrote it like that.
It's fine.
I don't know why I wrote it.
It's really weird. Or I paraphrased very well.
Yeah. I liked it. You did a good job.
You did a
Even if
good
you
job.
didn't write it.
Okay, guys. Life is hard. All right. So Clary clears the throat, and she's like, "It's all okay, but I'm hung up on one thing." And you guys guessed it. It's all the stuff about her brother lover being a demon. She tells Jocelyn.
Of course she's hung up on
that.
Of
Just
course.
one thing. So she tells Jocelyn that she knew some of what had happened to him because of them finding Ethereal, like,
Right.
whatever. But she just can't wrap her head around, like, why do you hate, Jonathan?
Jace.
Fuck.
Yeah, Jonathan Jace.
Listen, you have to butt munch that because we're not
Okay.
at that point yet. What am I trying to say here? She just can't wrap her head around her?
She can't understand how someone could think Jace was evil.
It.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. However, she just can't wrap her head around it. Jocelyn talks about him like he's evil incarnate. If she could just get to know him, to meet him, she'd see that he's not a monster. Jocelyn reaches out and takes Clary by the hand and tells her that her tale is not over. The lies have all been ousted, but there was something she discovered while she was under her Snow White curse, and it could be very hard to hear. So brace yourself, ladies.
Are you guys getting chills?
Yeah.
I am. They're multiplying.
Okay, good.
So Clary can't figure out what the hell could be worse than what she's already heard. So she tells her mom, like, go ahead, like, hit me with your best shot, Pat Benatar. So when Dorothea told her that Viting had been spotted in the city, she knew that the only reason he was there was for the cup and, and for Jocelyn. And she really wanted to run, but she couldn't bring herself to tell Clary the real reason. I know. But don't get it twisted. She's not mad that Clary ran off. She was actually relieved that she wasn't there when Daddy Tank showed up.
Then why did you call her and be like, answer the phone? Like, maybe she would have come home. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
So Jocelyn took the potion, hoping that when V-Tank came in, he would just think that she was dead and leave her. But of course he didn't. He brought her with him to Renwick's and tried a bunch of shit to wake her up. And of course nothing worked.
He's like a pot of coffee in her face. That's my jam.
But Jocelyn wasn't entirely passed out the whole time. She was in a dream state, kind of like half conscious. And Valentine.
Valentine.
V-Tang decided to sit at her bedside and talk to her while she was sleeping. He spoke of the past, their marriage, how she was basically a Benedict Arnold. And regardless of all of that, he hasn't loved anyone since her. More like he never loved anyone, including her. But
Do you think
whatever.
he like got his groove on too? Like,
No.
I don't think so either.
I really don't.
Not
think
with
so.
her. I just mean like in between. Not with her while she was out. That is not what I meant.
Yeah, that's not. Robin.
No. Robin's so offended right now.
You mean in the 16 years that they were separated?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, did he date anyone, basically?
No, he couldn't. I'm sure everybody, like... Well, I guess he could date a mundane, but I don't think he would do that.
I guess that's true.
Like, anybody would know who he
Well,
was.
and he still had followers. Like, he still has...
Oh, so maybe some of the followers gave him some booty.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think he's too one-track mind kind of a guy. And he is someone... Valentine doesn't have honor, but he's really traditional, and he has the illusion of honor, right? And so I don't think that he would stray from his marriage like that. I don't think that's his style.
Okay.
Because in his head they're like totally still definitely married.
Yeah.
And, like together.
He's still head over heels.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Sorry, I had to ask.
that's all right. So Jocelyn thinks that it's an old habit from when they were still together and that he hasn't really had anyone to talk to since she disappeared. And as weird and as muddled as it is, she believes that in his own warped way, Viting really does believe that he loves her. Like, he thinks it's true. And still does. And that's why he started telling her about Jonathan. Mm-hmm. So, first thing you want to do was apologize for what he had done to Jonathan while he was in the womb, because he knows that it almost killed Jocelyn. He knew that she was close to suicide over her baby, and although he didn't know that she knew that he had somehow gotten access to angel blood. It's obviously legendary to Shadowhunters, and when he injected it, his strength increased, but he also felt a sense of euphoria and happiness, so he took some, dried it, crushed it into a powder, and mixed it into her food. And Clary's sassy, and her voice is like, oh, I can tell you how he got a hold of the angel's blood.
Fucking Dexter over here, dude. Anyway.
But instead, she keeps that part to herself and asks her mom if she thinks it worked. Like, okay, cool, all that, but did it work? And she admits, like, Jocelyn's like, well, that she has wondered in the past, like, while she was whatever, if that's what gave her the focus to go on and make the coup against her husband.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't it be sweet, sweet justice if it was really what caused his rebellion to fail?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the point is, while he was mixing the angel blood food, what he didn't know is that she was actually pregnant. And she thinks the angel blood had a significant impact on Clary's mad rune skills.
Skills with a Z.
Okay.
Skills.
You guys, I've brought this up before, but I'm still very confused. In order to get pregnant with Clary, she would have had to have sex with Valentine
100%.
after she gave birth to this monster.
Okay, so have we determined the age difference between Jace and Clary?
Jace and Clary are, because she was only like a few months pregnant when this all happened and fled. And during the time of, like, Jace was quote unquote born just before the uprising. Because Stephen died just before the uprising. So
yeah, so it wasn't long. So I guess she was just trying to pretend like everything was all good. It was a short period of time. She was like, we're fine. We'll do it one time. Make him feel good about himself. I just had a baby, though. So, like, leave me alone. We'll do it once. And, you know, bye-bye. It is weird, though.
But, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just once. You know that. So, like, that's what I just can't seem to wrap my head around. Is, like, why she'd be like, I'd make an excuse, bro. Like.
Right.
I have a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe she was afraid not to. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
She had to prove that things were still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Clary is like, yes, Mama Jamma. That's probably why you were able to trap the Mortal Cup in the tarot card. And Viting can do shit like remove the curse from Hoj. And Jocelyn says that Viting had been experimenting on himself for years, and he is probably the closest thing that a humanoid is to a warlock. Mm-hmm. However, there's no experiment he could have done to himself that would have had as big of an effect as it did for her or for Jonathan, since he was receiving the blood in utero. Mm. Clary goes back to what the Seelie Queen had told them and says, so we really were just experiments? Jocelyn's like, well, yes, but you were unintentional. The purpose of Jonathan was that Viting wanted to create a super warrior, like Captain America. And he told her while she was sleeping at Renwick's that he really was one. Stronger, faster than all the other Shadowhunters, but he was also cruel, immoral, and empty. And Viting felt like he was loyal to him, but creating him the way he did, he knew that he made a son that could never really love him. Mm. So Clary thought back to how Jace had looked clutching his portal meat and was like, no, wrong. I call bullshit. Jace shouldn't love Valentine, but he does. And he's like the exact opposite of everything you're saying. Wrong.
Wrong.
I love how many throwbacks we're getting to like earlier stuff.
And there's a passage in here that circles back to our discussion on rune scars I wanted to read. It says, Jocelyn's hands twisted in her lap. They were laced all over with fine white mark scars. The fine white scars all Shadowhunters bore, the memory of vanished marks. So basically, I'm right, bitches.
Okay, I'm confused. I have a question. Okay, anyway, don't you think you would just have like one spot that you would do runes on and just like let that skin get fucked up? Like you put them on your hands and shit?
The closer they are to your heart,
the more effective they are. So like an Aratsi, like closer to your heart, the more effective it is.
So wouldn't you just do it right here all the time? I guess it would be too much.
I think it depends. I don't know, because they have kind of like.
Well, here's the thing: if you have a permanente rune,
yes,
you're not going to be able to keep putting runes on top of where your permanent runes are.
Right. Okay.
And there's, as we see later on, next chapter, there's a lot of runes.
Yeah.
To like put on before battle. So like I feel like you can't just do it, like you kind of have to like use your
canvas.
Yes.
Okay. Because they can't just be on top of each other. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too much scar tissue.
That I wish you saw.
Yes.
We need to make a playlist of all the songs that we reference.
And movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, Jocelyn's wringing her hands in anxiety about the next thing she has to tell Clary. But she finally gets on with it and tells her that this person she's been describing, she's not talking about Jace.
Oh, shit.
What? So the world starts to slow down for Clary, and she wonders if she's in a dream. She tells her mom that Jace is Vitang's son. Who else could he be? Jocelyn reveals that the night Celine Herondale died, she was 8 months purgante. Vitang had been secretly giving her potions and powders, the same ones that he had given himself, laced with angel blood. His hope was that Stephen's child would be as strong and powerful as Jonathan, but without the whole, like, demon qualities. He couldn't bear the thought of his hard work going to waste, and so he and Hodge cut the baby out of Celine.
Fucking messed up, man.
Vitang had Hodge take it to his childhood home until the uprising. After that night, Valentine pretended to be Michael Whalen, so he had the baby moved to the Whalen Manor and raised him as Michael Whalen's son. And Clary's in shock and says, "So Jace is not my brother?" And Jocelyn reaches out and squeezes her hand and says, "No, Clary, he's not."
What?
So I just like to take a moment of silence here to say, let's hold hands.
Okay.
Farewell, brother lover, king of the nicknames, whose long and faithful friendship those who knew you won't forget. Though your body will decay, your spirit lingers on.
What is it?
Farewell.
Hail and farewell.
I was doing the Aragog. Anyway.
That was beautiful.
So, I'm sad, but oh well. Clary starts to realize that Jocelyn is acting this way because she feels sorry for Clary. And she thinks that she's telling her bad news.
Hold on. Before we get into this. If Jocelyn could hear everything that Valentine told her, that means that she could hear everything that Clary told her when Clary came to the hospital and told her that she was in love with her brother.
Maybe she was really sleeping.
Well, she said that she was in and out of consciousness, so she might not have heard it.
Oh, okay.
That's funny, because it was a long conversation.
Yeah. Luke heard it.
Maybe she... Yeah.
Your brother.
Your blood relation.
Maybe she just heard the parts about Simon.
Yeah. So, Clary, not being able to believe her luck wholesale, questions the bones found at Fairchild Manor. And her mom told her that those were Michael and his son's bones. Valentine killed them both and burned their bodies to make it look like they were his own. Jonathan is still alive. Vitang raised Jace at the Whalen Manor and Jonathan in the house near the lake. And he was able to divide his time between the two of them. Sometimes he would leave one or both of them for extended periods of time. It would seem that Jace never knew about Jonathan, but perhaps Jonathan knew about Jace. They never met, even though they were only miles away from each other. And Clary's like, so you're saying there's a chance? Jace doesn't have demon blood, and he's not cursed? And Jocelyn was like, girl, were you not just listening? Okay, she doesn't say that. But she does reiterate that his blood is mixed with angel's blood, just like her. And Clary tries to imagine Vitang raising the two boys, one dark and one light, loving them the sick, twisted way that he loved anything. And she wonders how Jonathan would feel if he did know about Jace, and asks her mom if she thinks he could have gotten better. It's been years. Come on.
It's interesting because it sounds like he took the same parenting road with both kids too, and there's literally polar opposites.
Right.
So interesting.
So Jocelyn's like, no, I don't. Viting said that he'd spent a long time teaching Jonathan how to appear charming, and his plan was for him to be a spy, and he couldn't be a very good one if he wasn't able to interact with the people he was supposed to be watching. He even taught him how to cast slight glamour so that way people would believe that he was likable and trustworthy. The reason she's telling her all of this back information is because she doesn't want her to feel bad that she was duped, because faux Sebastian was really Jonathan the whole time.
Dun, dun, dun! Okay, wait. How does she know that?
Valentine told her.
About the Sebastian part?
Yeah.
Like he's going to go pose as Sebastian?
Well, I think she might have put 2 and 2 together.
Okay, that's fair. She probably realized his hair and stuff.
Because she's been in the hospital since Renwick, so.
Yeah.
Jocelyn says that. I go over it.
Okay, sorry.
So,
Robin's signaling. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck! Get out of my calm, Amanda!
Turn off Netflix.
Yeah. Clary's like, ew, gross. No wonder I felt weird when I met him. And, like, not when I met Jace.
And when I kissed him.
Oh, my God. So Jocelyn says that after Luke explained what had happened in Alicante, since she was gone, she knew that it had to be faux Sebastian. The story added up. His age, no parents, utterly loyal to Valentine, his weird shoe polish hair dye. Viting always said that he would take down the wards, and that's what he did. He found a loophole in the protection. Demons aren't able to come into the city, but Jonathan is granted automatic entrance because he's a Shadowhunter. But he also has demon blood, and that's how he was able to bring down the wards.
That's pretty smart.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now.
But on that same thought, wouldn't that mean that a warlock could bring down the wards? Because they have demon blood as well.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They're literally half demon.
And how are they
Or
not
a
all
fairy.
evil like this motherfucker? Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
I don't
they
know.
just never got close to them. Maybe they're watched when they're in the city.
Maybe it's a different kind of demon.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
So, Clary reminisces back to her short time that she had spent with her actual brother and wonders if fate had given him the lonely princess face. Like,
her comic book.
yeah, her comic book character. Like, fate brought that to me. Anyway, she announces, somebody has to tell Jace. And she thinks that, like, maybe if he knew all along that they weren't related, that he wouldn't have gone after, like, Viting himself and, like, went to die.
I appreciate how much stock you put in yourself. But I'm going to let you in a little secret. Jace would have done it anyways.
Wrong. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, his blood has changed mentally now, obviously, but he still has the connection with Viting, which is the reason he's going.
And he still has the fucking god complex and has to be the one to save
That's
this, or
fair.
hero complex, I should say.
Yeah.
And he's got to save the day.
So Jocelyn starts to answer when the Accord's hall door slams open and Luke is standing there, telling them that something had finally gone right. Clary did it. They have agreed to let her mark them. There will be no surrender.
300! Wait, that's not how it goes.
This is Sparta.
Yeah. Plus their voices didn't crack in the middle of it. Well, I'm excited. Good job, Clary. Finally. Finally.
Yeah, she finally listened and actually learned something.
We wrote her a letter.
Fire message.
Yeah.
Oh, shitters.
Okay, so make sure that you read chapter 18, Hail and Farewell, for next week's episode.
For behind the scenes content and the latest updates, check us out on Instagram at Downworlder Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.